Okay, we are back. I'm very happy to have on the Goldstein on Gelt Show Nadav Kidron, who is the CEO and director of Oramed Pharmaceuticals, which he founded in 2006. Nadav is what we would call here on the Goldstein on Gelt Show a high-tech hero. A real pleasure to have you.
Thank you, Doug. It's great to be here.
So you folks have been in the news a little bit recently because what seems to be some very exciting turns of events for your company. Can you tell us a little bit about that?
Sure. So what Oramed has is a technology that was developed at Hadassah Medical Center right here in Jerusalem, not so far from, I guess, where you are. And the technology allows us to take injectable and deliver them orally. And the leading product that Oramed has is oral insulin. So the idea is that diabetics can take insulin as an earlier treatment, and by doing so, they can treat much better the diabetes because of the earlier oral administration.
So when you say oral administration, you mean when you're not feeling, when a diabetic isn't feeling well, he could just pop a pill?
Well, the truth is, it's hopefully when they still feel well, they should do it because the diabetic, it's a long journey for diabetics. And the sooner we start with insulin, the better it is. And many diabetics don't want to take the injection. And if we can offer them an oral insulin to be taken earlier on, and it's something they have to take it on a regular basis every day, regardless of how they feel, it will help them overall be in a better control over their diabetes.
I know scientists, from what I understand, this is actually quite revolutionary because insulin has long been considered something that couldn't be taken orally. Is that correct?
It's absolutely correct. And in Israel, we love to do things which are considered to be impossible to do. So we just wanted to join the trend.
That's why we call you high-tech heroes. So is it a science that our listeners can understand? Can you give us a little summary of how it is that you broke through that barrier?
Sure. First of all, I'm sure, I would think there's many doctors among your listeners, so I'm sure there's a lot of people who can even go deeper. But just to give a general overview, the reason that small proteins, which are called peptides, cannot be delivered orally is because we have two obstacles. There's a problem of degradation and there's a problem of the size. And the technology that Oramed has basically helps us take it and protect the peptide, in this case the insulin, from the degradation, and using an absorption enhancer, we can deliver it, giving the size limitation into the portal vein. And then basically the peptide, in this case, as I said, the insulin goes into the liver, and then the liver, that's the organ that has control over the regulation of the insulin, in the secretion of the insulin into the bloodstream, and that's exactly what's happening with oral insulin.
And how has it been actually working tachlis?
So tachlis is very simple. You get a pill the same way you buy Advil or whatever it is that you buy out there. And once someone, when you look around us, over the age of 30, 40, 10% of the people have diabetes. And when someone goes to the annual check at the doctor and suddenly they tell them, Mr. Goldstein or whatever the name is, sorry to tell you, your sugar level, your blood sugar level are too high and we have to do something about it. So one of the first remedies, one of the first medications they're going to have is actually oral insulin.
Wow, that is quite something. Well, let's talk about the business side of it then, which is the current marketing efforts. Are you still in development, or are you actually selling this?
So we're exactly sort of in between, meaning the product is ready, and I wish we could sell it, but in order for us to sell it, there's a whole Via Dolorosa that we have to go through the FDA in order to get the FDA's permission to sell it. So as many of you know, in order to develop a drug, there's phase 1, there's phase 2, and there's phase 3. So we're now starting the phase 2B with the FDA, which is quite advanced stage to be at. And the market, and that's very unfortunate because the numbers of diabetics are becoming so big, the market of diabetes in the world is around $500 billion. It's $500 billion a year.
Wow.
And the idea is to tap into this market and actually maybe reduce a little bit the costs of this market by giving the oral medication earlier on and preventing some of the complications that come later on.
We're talking with Nadav Kidron, who is the founder of Oramed Pharmaceuticals in Israel. He is a real high-tech hero in the pharmaceutical area of high tech, which Israel is certainly well known for. He's been describing to us a $500 billion industry, which sounds huge. So let's talk a little bit more about the business side of it, which is just your overall protection, if as far as patents goes. Can you tell us if you are, from an investment standpoint, is someone going to be coming and taking your ideas, or are they yours to keep?
Well, so this is where patents come into play. So everything that you do, or let's say a company like Oramed, if we were ever to do a deal with a big pharma so they can take care of the distribution, so the essence of what we actually give them is the IP. And in most of the world today, including some of the developing country, the IP has tremendous value for it, and the reason companies are willing to invest hundreds of millions of dollars in developing drugs is because you get that IP protection that allows for those companies down the line to make a nice profit on these products that they sell to the end user.
So you've pretty much wrapped up what you have, ready to sell it overseas.
Yeah.
So a lot of the issues that come up when people talk about Israel high tech is that Israel is very ingenuitive in coming up with the new ideas, but then unfortunately they're not able to actually get it out to market, and they have to sell it out. People refer to this as a brain drain. Are you on that path, or is there some way that this technology is going to continue to benefit Israel for years to come?
So it's a very good question. You know, I'm a real Zionist, and I think and when I go around the world and I tell people what we do, I think it brings a lot of respect and different ways for people to look at Israel, especially when there's all the BDS and everything else going out there. You know what? So you can tell people, you want to boycott Israel, no problem, but it's oral insulin that you know that your father needs it.
Right? Don't
you
take
know,
that.
maybe you should consider boycotting that as well. So I think there's tremendous value for making sure that these innovations that are being innovated in Israel and were thought of in Israel, even though at the end of the day the package is going to be a Pfizer package, people can make the connection and understand, hey, this thing was actually, thought of, developed, invented in Israel. But the reason that unfortunately many times that's the case, and it could be the same case by us, is because if you want to sell a drug to I don't know, 30 million diabetics out there, you need to have a sales force. So rather for one company to put up the sales force in order for them to reach all the doctors, all the hospitals, all of that, it makes much more sense to collaborate with a big pharma that already got the sales force on the ground and utilize their sales force. That will be the most efficient way to move forward. And that's why, unfortunately, in many cases, there's absolutely no other way by having this partnership in order to maximize the effect and the profit of the specific product.
Have you set up any such partnerships yet, or is that still?
Well, I have to be very careful. We're a public company,
okay.
so everything that I'm saying. But I can tell you that we have disclosed that we have discussions with potential big pharma. We haven't disclosed anything beyond that. So as far as that, I'm happy to share.
Okay, and how about in other countries outside the United States? It seems that some other countries' FDAs are a little bit less stringent and are happy to get new ideas to the market sooner. Have you found that as well?
You know what? It's interesting. We published a few months ago that we got an investment from a Chinese pharma, and we said that we see them as sort of as a gateway into potentially the Chinese market. You know, I came last week. I was in China, and you look at the CFDA, which is this Chinese CFDA. So they live in their own world. They say, you know what? We, in a way, and I'm taking it a little bit to the extreme, but in a way, they say, I don't care where you're standing with the FDA. You're coming to China. You have to start from scratch. And we have quite a big market out there. So there's definitely other places different than the United States that someone may consider moving forward in order to get the regulatory approval. And again, I don't want to offend any of American listeners, specifically the ones in New York, but I'm going to share a big secret with people from New York. And let's keep it confidential, but there's a real world out there beyond New York.
I gotcha. Yeah, you have to go where you can sell, and if other countries are anxious to bring this technology to market, that could really change many lives before it gets to America.
Right, absolutely.
So how about the technology being used for other types of medication? Is your technology broader than just for insulin?
Yeah, so we have actually a platform technology that allows Oramed to take injectables and deliver them orally. We have limitations, but I mean, just to give you an example, think about flu vaccine. Someone can take flu vaccine, and instead of taking it as an injection, they can take it orally, right? So that can be a game-changing thing, because many people who wouldn't necessarily take the flu vaccine because they don't want to get the shot, they may take it because they can take it orally, or someone who's older, they cannot make it to the pharmacy, or someone who's younger, whatever, you bring it over to them, and they just take it with a glass of water. So there's definitely yet a lot of things that we're looking to explore down the line, but we decided to start with insulin because we have years of experience specifically with insulin, because it's such a big market and because there's such a big need for it. That's why our flagship product at this point is the oral insulin.
All right. Nadav, we are just about out of time. I certainly wish you the greatest of success with your flagship product, because I know it will change the lives of hundreds of millions of people. We've been talking to Nadav Kidron from Oramed Pharmaceuticals. Nadav, in the last few seconds, just tell us, how can people follow you and follow the company?
So very simple. Everybody is welcome to log on to our website, oramed.com, ORAMED.com. And you can actually put your own email there, so you can get the updates for us as we move forward. We also have a Facebook page, Oramed Pharmaceutical, very easy. And if anybody comes to Jerusalem, you can just stop by. We're at the high-tech park, and always happy to see people who come to visit us.
Great. Thank you very much. We will put links to all of that at the show notes of today's show at goldsteinongelt.com. Nadav Kidron, thanks so much for your time.
Thank you, Doug.
You are listening to the Goldstein on Gelt Show with money maven Doug Goldstein. Doug's weekly radio show is heard around the world, but if you miss it, you can download the podcast at www.goldsteinongelt.com. The Goldstein on Gelt Show gives you up-to-date financial ideas so you can get on the path to financial freedom. If you'd like your questions answered on the air or off, send Doug an email to doug@profile-financial.com. It's your money for your future, so join Doug every week to build your wealth on the Goldstein on Gelt Show.